What's up, you guys? Today we are finally talking about this guy. My brand new, to me at least, old K. This is my very first old K I've ever owned. And for you cymbal nerds out there, this is an old stamp Type 4A, which is from 1958 to 1959. It's a very unique cymbal. It's a little bit cracked around the bell, but every time I played it so far, I marked these right when I bought it, and the cracks have not moved at all. I talked to a few experts on old Ks and people that work on these a lot, and everybody I talked to said, mark exactly where each of these cracks start around the bell, and if they move at all, we'll take care of it. We'll drill them out a little bit or try to repair them in some way. But if they don't move, really don't worry about it. I was a little concerned about these, but it just sounded so great that I had to pull the trigger. In this case, this cymbal has tons of character. I've been loving playing it, and everybody that I've showed it to or that's played it, my friends, other drummers, other musicians, everybody just loves this cymbal so far. So yeah, before anything else, I'll have to show you guys what it sounds like. So there's quite a few factors into what actually makes these old Ks sound this good. Firstly, it's the metals they were using at the time, some sort of interesting chemistry in Turkey. So the second thing, and probably the most important thing about why these cymbals sound so good, is both the bell was hand-shaped and the entire cymbal was hand-shaped by hammering. A master cymbalsmith would hand hammer each of these cymbals and turn out some amazing results. So this doesn't happen very often anymore, and Zildjian doesn't do this at all anymore. Alright, you guys, so while I was editing this video a little earlier today, I was taking a break and reading a great book by Cal Newport called Deep Work, and there's an amazing quote by a blacksmith named Rick Furr that really well summarizes why cymbals are not still made in this way today. He's not a cymbal maker, but his work as a blacksmith I think is very similar to that of cymbal makers of the day. So he says, I do all my work by hand and use tools that multiply my force without limiting my creativity or interaction with the material. What may take 100 blows by hand can be accomplished in one by a large swaging machine. This is the antithesis of my goal, and to that end, all my work shows evidence of the two hands that made it. And I think this perfectly makes sense why companies like Zildjian now don't do anything by hand. They just use large machines that can crank out cymbals a ton quicker, and creating cymbals like this one takes a remarkable amount of time, and most companies just don't have the time and the money to do that anymore. So that is my theory of why cymbals are not made like this anymore. And that brings me on to my next point, the aging of the cymbal, the patina they develop, the amount of playing these cymbals have had at over 60 years old, along with all the little unique characteristics that these cymbals develop over all the years, whether it be drilling rivets into them, whether it be small cracks, whether it be dents even. So each of these cymbals are very unique. This one is no different. Another very large factor into why people think these cymbals sound so good actually relates to hearing them on records. Almost every classic jazz record you could think of, the drummer was playing one of these old Ks, and listening to those for all those years really embeds that sound in your brain. So it's kind of a funny story how I ended up buying this. I was actually selling one of my old cymbals. So I was selling this 22-inch Istanbul Jazz Ride, which I really love that cymbal, but I have so many cymbals at this point that I just don't play all of them enough. So I sold it to somebody in Chicago that follows this channel a little bit and that follows my Instagram, a great young drummer. And I met up with a guy out here that was actually flying back to Chicago the next day. So I dropped the cymbal off with him, and that was actually right by Maxwell's. And I I was like, okay, I'm already down here in Midtown New York. Might as well go check out Maxwell's. Just sold one cymbal, so might as well go check out some more. I was trying to start saving up for an old K like this whenever I found the right one. So I went in there and told him, yeah, for the first time in my life, I might actually be interested in buying an old K now. Can I check out what you've got? And he was like, yeah, this one actually just came in yesterday, and you're really gonna wanna play this one. This is one of the best ones I've heard in a long time. And I brought it into this little room they have there where you can set it up on a drum set. It's like this tiny little enclosed studio space within this tiny store. I played it and I was like, wow, that is one of the nicest cymbals I've ever played. It has a lot of the qualities that I'm always looking for in a cymbal. Really amazing definition, character, crashability, and control all in one cymbal. I was kind of sold, but quite honestly, Maxwell's is kind of known for pushing their prices up quite a bit. So I knew it was gonna just be astronomical. So I walked up to him after I played it for a second and I was like, I'm scared to know, but how much are you guys asking for this cymbal? And he said, $1,800. And I was like, okay, like that's actually a lot less than I thought you would be asking for it. Like, it's a shitload of money, but for one of these old Ks that are getting increasingly more and more rare over the years, I was like, okay, I'm actually gonna consider this. I was like, can you hold it for me for the rest of the day? And he said, yeah, of course. So I headed out and I talked to a few older drummers that are kind of experts on these old Ks. Talked to Francesco Ciniglio, who's an amazing Italian drummer from Napoli, and I talked to Joe Perry, who's an amazing drummer from New York. Both of those guys were like, yeah, that's actually a pretty amazing price. If you really like that cymbal, you should go for it. If you got the funds, I was like, holy shit, I might actually buy this cymbal today. So I went back eventually, I couldn't help myself, and I ended up buying this cymbal. And I got it for a little less than they were asking for, but not by much. Every gig that I've taken this to, at least one musician has been like, what is that cymbal? Like, that thing's amazing. The people that know. But the thing I should say is I've been playing drums since I was 5 years old. I do this professionally. I've literally waited for like 10 years at this point from wanting to buy one of these cymbals until I actually really found one that I thought was worth purchasing. And I'm probably gonna own this thing for the rest of my life. I have no intentions on selling it. I would probably sell every single other cymbal I own before I sold this one. I would definitely not recommend everybody to go out and buy an old K. These are a significant investment and some of them can be very fragile, they can crack, and all of them do not sound good. I played some horrible old Ks, and this is why I waited this long to actually buy this one. Long story short, you don't need one of these. You can get amazing cymbals for a lot less money that sound this good, but this is a very interesting cymbal, and I thought I'd make a video on it because this was a pretty big purchase for me. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on this new cymbal I bought, and I'm gonna keep playing it, so I'm sure you guys will see this in more videos in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and as always, I would really appreciate it if you go down below, like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more things like this. So, thank you guys so much again, and I'll see you in the next video.